Regular meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our meeting today. May our discussions be fruitful, our decisions wise, and our community strong. Amen. Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present. First item before regular public portion, we have a special recognition for Grandparent and Kinship Month in Lake County, Ohio, and I would like to invite the Director of Lake County Job and Family Services to say a few words.
Thanks, Commissioner Plechnik. This is a wonderful time of year to talk about the important role that grandparents play in the lives of their grandchildren in general. But today I also wanted to particularly highlight the grandparents and kinship providers that really step up to provide their grandchildren or other friends and relatives with a safe and nurturing place when parents are going through a difficult time. The governor's office has also recognized Grandparent and Kinship Care Month, which is this month. I had a couple of statistics that I wanted to share with the public. Currently in Ohio, more than 297,000 children are living in homes where caregivers are relatives. And of those 297 children, 189,000 of them are currently living with grandparents. So this is a particularly important day to recognize the contributions that they make. And we are always grateful at Job and Family Services for the grandparents and kinship caregivers that work with our agency and intervene in the lives of children before our agency needs to have formal involvement. So thank you for recognizing this day.
Rightly so. From my anecdotal perspective, in Slovenian, grandma and grandpa are actually pronounced stada mama and stadiata, and mama and ata literally mean mother and father. It just has the prefix of old in front of it, indicating that you are an older parent, but nonetheless a parent. And it's telling how many grandparents play such an important role in the lives of their grandchildren and great-great-great-grandchildren as they take care of them. Some folks have parents and grandparents to look out for them, but for those who only have grandparents, it's so important we recognize them. And if you wouldn't mind stepping forward, we have a special proclamation for Job and Family Services because your department works hard to facilitate those grandparents in their duties and taking care of the next generation. Congratulations.
Support New York Giants.
Not on the print version, but online if you read down. It tells you how
You from New York?
I am. Keep believing in them.
You from New York?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Parksville.
We now return to our usually scheduled programming and public portion. Anyone who wishes to address the Board of Lake County Commissioners, please step forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Anyone for public portion?
Did you want to take a minute and recognize Lady Bishop before we go on?
Well, I think we can do that with a little bit more time after public portion.
As you wish, sir. Chris Harry, 185 West Jackson Street, Paintsville. I'd like to ask that everybody think about understanding what it is with peace starts with me. In our own mind and body, we want to always center our thoughts on goodness so that our body will do goodness. Then after we can work to accomplish this, we can work to accomplish creating a family, and then creating as grandparents, creating a tribe. And then that tribes together can create community, and the community, a nation, and the world. So I would like to take some time, we think about this, and then also a moment of silence also too for Lady Bishop, who passed about a while ago. And we pray for her, and that this Saturday at the Assembly of God Church on John A. Cake Ridge in Concord, there will be a morning program at 10, and at 11 will be a homecoming ceremony. And so I'm sure Bishop is not here yet today, but I'm sure he wants to invite personally each of the commissioners to come and attend. And okay, let us have a moment of silence for these two special points. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion today?
Good morning, Deanne Demetra, representing United Way of Lake County, 9285 Progress Parkway Mentor. President Plechnik, Commissioner Regovich, Commissioner Hamercheck, wanted to take a few moments this morning to thank you personally, especially Commissioner Regovich for his support this year again of our Jail and Bail event. It was a lot of fun. We really need to extend a thank you to Sheriff Lambrino and Lieutenant Bowen, who accompanied us that day. They are critical to our success. We raised over $13,000 with the help of a number of community leaders, and that's a 30% increase over last year's effort. So we're grateful for the support. We did kick off our campaign late last month, and regrettably that was scheduled at the same time as the EMA exercise, so the commissioners weren't able to attend. So I just wanted to take a couple of moments. We certainly look forward to our continued partnership. Last year we were thrilled with the success of the campaign. For the first time since before COVID, we were able to invest $1 million back into the community through our volunteer-led fund. As you know, another $750,000 was invested through designations. So that's the greatest investment that United Way of Lake County has made in almost 10 years. So we're very excited about that. But we know that the challenge continues to grow. The most recent ALICE data was released related to Lake County. ALICE refers to access limited, income constrained, and employed. So those are the folks that are working in our community yet are having trouble making ends meet. And that went up by 2% this last year. Those individuals are typically woefully underprepared for retirement. And as our community continues to age, that's going to be a challenge. And they're also our most vulnerable during disasters, which we saw last month with the small scale windstorm and tornado that hit the county. So your support and advocacy helps us to continue to improve lives here in Lake County, and for that we're grateful. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
Does my time count when I walk up there?
Not until you state your name and address.
So if I do that at the end, I get more time.
No.
It's hard to hear, by the way, even with my hearing aids turned up. It's by speaking here, I don't know if you can turn up your speaker volumes or not, but it's a little hard to hear. Anyway, my name is Elliot Pilarczyk. Most of you know, especially Dave Hackman knows me. So anyway, I'm just playing with that. She's sitting in his chair.
It's the best he's ever looked.
What's that?
It's the best he's ever looked.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Anyway,
Your address, sir?
my address is 216 Gillette Street, Painesville, Ohio. But if you're going to mail me, mail it to my post office box, which is 2105. Okay? Anyway, I'm just here to thank the commissioners in general. My father was a township trustee for 43 consecutive years. One of the things I found is people don't come to meetings to thank them for all their years of service. Most people come to complain about something. And you probably have found that to be true too. And needless to say, and I especially want to thank John and his recent loss of his favorite family member, Bimmer, if I pronounce that correctly.
Beamer.
Anyway, it's tough when you lose an animal like that. I had many animals over the time, and unfortunately they don't live as long as you do. Anyway, I just want to thank John and all he's done in the county for what he's done, and along with the other commissioners, your faithfulness and your time spent in doing public service will never be appreciated by the citizens. It's just the way it is. So anyway, I want to just thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I still got time left, don't I?
Yes, you do. Mr. Massey.
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive, average citizen on behalf of Lobbyists for Citizens. I have been before the commissioners and commissioners before talking about election integrity. I spent a lot of time trying to defend the Lake County Board of Elections because I think they do an absolute superb job. I keep hearing starting in 2020 about election fraud. What was really concerning to me was we have to make sure that the citizens of Lake County understand that we have free and fair elections here in Lake County. But what I've been hearing from this, I don't know, it seems like months now that I keep hearing in this commission meeting is some fake news that I really would like to get on the record and let the citizens of Lake County know that what the accusations that have been made with Commissioner Hamercheck is just basically fake news. Through a public records request, I'd like to read this into the record. I have a letter. It's on the letterhead of Dave Yost, the Ohio Attorney General. It was written by Drew Wood, who is an Associate Assistant Attorney General. It's to the Honorable Charles Colson, Lake County Prosecutor, and the subject matter is Lake County Board of Elections Computer Investigation. Dear Mr. Colson, on September 7, 2021, the Special Prosecutor's Section of the Ohio Attorney General's Office was appointed as a special prosecutor pertaining to the above referenced case. The Special Prosecution Section has completed a review of the investigative file provided to our office in conjunction with other law enforcement authorities in the United States. I presume that would mean the FBI. After a careful inspection of the materials provided and consultation with the victim, our office has determined it is not appropriate to pursue a criminal prosecution in this matter. Based on the findings, we are closing our investigation into this matter. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Lake County. The Ohio Attorney General Office is committed to seeking justice for the citizens of the state of Ohio and remains available if any future need arises. If you have any questions regarding this letter, please contact me at this number. I just want to say to Commissioner Hamercheck, thank you. Thank you for helping me prove to the citizens of Lake County that the Lake County Board of Elections provides the utmost care and real concern that there are free and fair elections. You don't get the credit for that, but I want to correct that record right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else? Mr. Mayor.
Morning, Commissioners. Before I begin, I just want to say that my name is John Mara, and I do serve as the mayor of the Village of Timberlake, and I'm speaking here today not just for myself, but as a Lake County resident, but also on behalf of many concerned residents of Timberlake and Lake County. What I have to say here is very important regarding the sexennial tax reevaluations and will exceed the allotted 3-minute time. Therefore, I respectfully request either a brief extension of my opportunity or the opportunity to revisit my remarks during the new business portion, where I can also address any questions you may have.
I can't grant additional time. It's not fair for one resident to receive more time than another, even someone as esteemed as the mayor of Timberlake. But we always have the next meeting, and we're all available offline to talk.
Thank you. Can I have his 2 minutes?
You can't transfer minutes, but you can talk about the same thing. So next time you can address the same topic.
Can I have the clock reset then so I can speed read through my,
2 seconds at least.
please? Or may I speak at the new business portion where I can address it and calmly and read slowly so that I don't have to rush through this, please?
I mean, Mr. Mayor, you decide how you spend your 3 minutes, and I'm extending a courtesy, even answering your question, because we do not want a back and forth between the public and the commissioners in public portion. I can't reset the clock.
So therefore, I've got 1 minute and 45 seconds to give a 3-minute speech, which if I read very quickly, I will barely get in. And again, I would just like to, again, what I have to say is very, very, very important. And again, I don't speak here as a resident. I'm speaking on behalf of the concerned citizens. I get a lot of complaints about this sexennial reevaluation. And honestly, it's something that has to be addressed. I know you addressed it with that. You said that our county auditor has no say in this, and that if he can miraculously not increase taxes, that he would. Well, we're finding otherwise. We're finding out not only is the state involved in it, but also the local school boards. Yes, that's what we have to go to. But more importantly, we need to go to our county auditor, which I believe that he used again a third party to do these investigations. But again, I have to read this. I'm going to enter it into, I guess, if I can approach a clerk. But again, it won't even make the minutes. I mean, I've been checking. The minutes don't even tell what we say. It tells a brief description of the topic that we talked about, but not the pertinent information that we discussed during these public portions. And that's another thing. It's like, why aren't our public portion comments being made public or aren't represented in the minutes? So, again, 28 seconds I have here. There's no way I can read through this, but I just find it disheartening that I cannot even, as a mayor of Timberlake, representing many, many, many residents, they all can't come here. People have jobs, they got to work, they don't have here. And again, to limit us to 3 minutes, I have so many other topics to talk about. This is only one of a dozen issues I have with the county, and again, with the commissioners. They need to know this information, and it's just not fair that we have not only been taking away the public portion or the second portion, but also now we're limited to 3 minutes, where we used to be able to
Thank you,
finish
Mr.
our
Mayor.
sentence, and now you
Thank
cut us
you.
off from even finishing our
Thank you, Mr.
sentence.
Mayor.
Thank you very much for not letting me speak.
Anyone else for public portion? Hearing none, we will move on to resolutions. Madam Clerk.
In the Utilities Department, resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund and Project Fund 596, Center Road Pump Station and Force Main Replacement 485S 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution accepting a 3-year maintenance bond in the amount of $24,391.81 for sanitary sewers and $27,732.45 for water lines for Hidden Village Phase 5 subdivision in Perry Village, job numbers 23-35 and 23-34.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations within Lake County Department of Utilities, Project Fund 595, Aquarius Water Treatment Plant Motor Control Center Replacement, 451W 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution awarding a bid contract in the amount of $112,282.73 to A&B Fencing LLC for security fencing replacement at 8505 Garfield Road for the Lake County Board of Commissioners.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $4,813,084.55.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Rogovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $423,186.69.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Rogovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution increasing and decreasing appropriations for various non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Rogovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Rogovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes. With the conclusion of resolutions, it's time for departmental reports, starting with our Department of Utilities.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just want to let you know that we have our final household hazardous waste collection this Saturday at the fairgrounds. Begins at 8 o'clock and it will go till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Generally, people are lined up at 8 o'clock or even 7 o'clock for that drop-off. So if you want to get in and out quickly, 10 to noon or so is the least busy time for that. But that'll be, again, this Saturday at the fairgrounds, starting at 8 o'clock.
Very good. Then Job and Family Services.
Thank you. I know we're a couple of weeks away from October, but I wanted to share that October is Manufacturing Month in Ohio. So our Ohio Means Jobs Lake County team is planning a manufacturing career fair in my hometown of Willowick, Ohio, on October 29th from 1 until 3 p.m. at Manry Park. So I would encourage all of those individuals who are interested in learning more about manufacturing jobs to attend the career fair again on October 29th from 1 until 3 at Manry Park. More information can be received by calling our Ohio Means Jobs team at 440-350-4000 and pressing option 3.
Very good. Then on to our County Administrator, Jason Boyd.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to share what we believe is really good news on the jail financing strategy that we've been talking about for some time. Joel and myself, Chief Izzo, and our underwriting fiscal team, we went to market this past Monday, this week, and had really good results. We were the only deal being priced in Ohio on Monday. So we got the request of the market, which was really good. It was an intense observation. We went downtown to Stiefel's office and watched it in real time on a screen that's about as big as what you see here. There's a similar to our public comment. There's a countdown clock. We had an hour and a half to sell $50 million in notes and $65 million in bonds. So that unique combination, plus being the only deal in Ohio that day, we had a spotlight on us, which proved to be a good thing. So here's just some highlights of our results. We were able to borrow $115 million versus our planned $120 through conservative budgeting, the help of the sheriff's staff, HOK and Gilbane, et cetera. So that was a great start. The true interest cost for the notes was about 3.47. We conservatively budgeted 4, so that was a win. The bonds, the true interest cost 4.48% when we conservatively budgeted 5%. And once again, really good news. So through this combination of the lower true interest rates, the lower amount borrowed, our annual debt beginning in 2025 will be approximately $6.4 million versus what we were budgeting, which was north of 7.1, 7.2 was what we had been budgeting. Once you can do the math there, there's $500,000 to $600,000 of liquidity there. And with those dollars, we plan to pay down the notes from those savings, thus reducing the minimum debt service here in the county moving forward. So all in all, it was a really great day, a lot of hard work by Joel and Zach, so I appreciate their work. The commissioners for supporting us the past 60 days. It got really intense the past 14 days as we worked with Gilbane and HOK and K2M to maintain our overall budget number, which we did. And we still have about $19.8 million in county contingency dollars in our project budget, so none of that was reduced. So just want to thank the commissioners for the continued support. As you'll note on site, the Burger King is officially gone and seated, and I don't know if they're working today, but the fence is up around 125 East Erie and the former OSU extension. I anticipate those being down in the next 14 days. Subsequent to that, I've been trading phone calls with John Rogers, the director of the Land Bank, for the final 3 parcels, which are the multi-unit family, the brick home on St. Clair, the former Mexican restaurant and barbershop, and the duplex that wraps around Jackson Street, across the street from the post office. All of those are scheduled to be down by the fall. We are still looking from a schedule standpoint for a construction fence to go up after Thanksgiving, with site work shortly thereafter. The most recent phone calls and meetings we've had with the design team and Gilbane, we've talked about early procurement the past pretty much the better part of a year, and it looks like the order and procurement of the generators will occur sooner than later. We've known that they're long lead items. The development of the Intel facility in Columbus and these other data centers are really sucking up generator capacity. I talked to Commissioner Hammercheck about that. So the fact that we allocated some resources maybe a month ago at the board meeting, we have the liquidity to go ahead and make those orders once everything's finalized with Gilbane. So we are continuing to move at a rapid yet efficient pace. Once again, I want to thank City Manager Doug Lewis. We shared some additional renderings with him this week, which he supported as we went through our value engineering exercise. So once again, they've continued to be a great team partner as we move through the final stages of design. I would anticipate the GMP amendment, which will be the final contract to come before the board in the next 30 days. Subsequent to that, we will have standalone contracts for FF&E, which is furnitures, fixtures, and equipment. We pushed an RFP out last week for that. We'll also have a separate contract. Once again, these are all baked in our total number for technical inspections, steel, concrete, all those sorts of things. We're having a third party inspect that. So those results, actually scored them yesterday, and PMC is evaluating all the proposals and the final scoring. So you'll have a recommendation in front of you for technical inspection services probably in the next 14 to 21 days. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. And for those listening at home or reading about it in the paper, I really want to emphasize the importance of these numbers. $6.4 million as an annual debt service payment is well below the surplus that we've enjoyed in recent years. And while there's no way to predict the future with a surety, it is well within a responsible number. Moreover, the fact that we've chosen to borrow a big portion of the debt in the form of short-term notes gives us the flexibility to repay a substantial amount of this debt ahead of schedule, and that is our goal. We want to budget as fiscally responsibly as possible in the next coming years so we can pay this debt down faster, and that will lower the annual payment even further. We also have the option of refinancing if interest rates were to go down, and we certainly hope that happens. But even if it doesn't, we've locked into favorable rates in today's market. So all said and done, this is a very manageable financing plan, giving us the option to pay down earlier. And I want to give special thanks to our County Administrator, Jason Boyd, for leading the team, both inside and outside of county government, to make sure that we had a successful bond issuance and that it fit the budget of the jail of roughly $205 million, which does make this the largest capital project in Lake County history, but it's one that we are prepared to take on, as Moody's has confirmed maintaining our bond rating, and as we have confirmed with the successful sale of the bond. So thank you, Jason.
Well, yeah, if I may, I mean, Zach and Joel, they were crunching the numbers. I probably haven't slept in 2 weeks, texting Joel more than he cares to, but you know, leadership starts at the top, so thank you for allowing us to put pen to paper the past 14 days, and the sheriff and Chief Izzo and all the folks behind the scenes that have really worked on, you know, getting this project right. So it's been literally it's been a team effort. You know, you hear that a lot, but I mean, I should thank Phil and Michelle and Amanda Gordon and the slew of fiscal folks, professionals behind the scene. You know, you guys know me. I get nervous Nelly sometimes, and sitting there watching, you know, this ticker and the sell of notes and bonds, and we finished, and Michelle said, "This has been a good day for you guys," and I said, "I can't imagine sitting here on a bad day," because I was a wreck just sitting there. So all in all, it was a great day, and we're looking forward to shovels in the ground after Thanksgiving. So thanks.
Very good.
Mr. President,
Mr. Commissioner.
I know it sounds redundant, but to thank enough, it's hard to describe the amount of time and how much the effort that this whole team has put together, starting with Jason and the Sheriff's Department, but Zach and Joel, their team, all the people that we assembled around us to make this successful. It's been daily, weekly for years now, and it's just, you know, that can grind on you, and it hasn't, and it's not over yet. It continues, and so I appreciate all the hard work and all the things you do at the after hours, the weekends, whatever it takes to get it done. You guys have been doing it. I truly appreciate it, being able to see it from this side of things, and I can't be more than happy about, you know, the team we have together and all the good stuff that's happening because of that. So thank you.
If I may, I totally forgot to thank, I can't believe it, was PMC. You know, Commissioner Hammercheck, you and I met with them 2-3 years ago, but Jeff and Ellis, notably the past 14 days, have just been grinding really, really hard. So just want to make sure I threw my acknowledgements to them. You know, PMC, folks remember, they are kind of our owner's rep, project manager, and really guide me and Joel and Zach and the sheriff through topics and variables that I didn't even know existed. And this past couple weeks, been very impressive on how they've been able to guide me, relax me, you know, and say we're going to get through it. So
As much as possible.
as much as possible.
Following on that comment, Ellis Katz and Jeff Applebaum have undoubtedly saved the county untold millions of dollars with their advice and their help as project managers and bidders come in way overpriced. They have pushed back and been powerful advocates for Lake County in this process. And I'm not surprised, not only because of their expertise, but because Mr. Applebaum lives in Kirtland, and he is going to, as a taxpayer, experience the impact of this project as much as any one of us. So I think he's passionate to make sure that the biggest project in Lake County history goes well, and he's brought his really international expertise to this project along with Mr. Katz, and they've been with us every step of the way, including the Board of Zoning Appeals meetings in Paynesville. That's how deeply they care about this project, and today's success is certainly in part due to their hard work too. So anything else for our county administrator? Then on to Madam Clerk.
The next commissioners meeting is next Thursday, September 26th, 10 a.m.
Very good. And legal.
No report.
Then we are on to old business. Any old business to come before the commission?
If I may, Mr. President?
Mr. Commissioner.
Quick update regarding the One Ohio Recovery Foundation Region 13. We just had our most recent review meeting. Things went well. We're not at liberty to say what grants we're referring down to the State Foundation for final approval, but Lake County fared well. We've leveraged our partnership with our fellow counties of Ashtabula, Jug, and Portage County. We're doing good. We are in the process of allocating approximately $2.4 million for the opioid mitigation. Looking good. So we're in good hands. We got a good team. And Ted St. John from Portage County, he is our representative now at the foundation down in Columbus. Good man. He lives and breathes this process. Catherine Whittington had been representing us. She was also the president, commissioner from Ashtabula County, for those who may not know. But Ted St. John, very hands-on individual, very practical. I will just as a little tangent, our Zoom meetings occasionally we've done, I believe he has this sign behind this mural that says, if you want to be part of the 1%, you need to be prepared to do what the other 99% will not do. So that really explains the motivation of this young man. He's very committed, lives and breathes it. He's actually hands-on with the people that are benefiting from these treatments, these activities, and this change of lifestyle. Because if you don't break the cycle, all the treatment in the world, it's not good. But we're in good hands. Just wanted to say, though, there's a good team there, and this is beyond the moment, but we're looking forward, and things are going well. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to address them, but that's what I have, sir.
Thank you. Any further old business?
Mr. President,
Mr. Commissioner.
just to kind of address Mayor Mara's comments, the meeting minutes are just a picture of what happened at the meeting. It's not a transcript. A transcript is something totally different where it's verbatim. And if we were to do that at some of these meetings, There's not enough paper, I think, we have on stock, but I'd be more than happy to go over this with you, set up a meeting with the auditor, whatever you deem necessary. I would love to discuss it with you. So if you wanted to make an appointment or on the phone or whatever works for you, anytime, Mayor, and I'd be happy to do that.
And I would second your comments, Commissioner Regovich. You sincerely are one of the most important public servants in Lake County, not just because you're a mayor and that's your title, but because of how hard you work on behalf of all the communities. Your involvement in mayors and managers, your involvement in county government. I think that you are one of the greatest mayors that I've ever had the privilege of knowing. So I apologize for the frustration. Verbatim minutes is very resource intensive, and it means not only that the clerks have to spend countless hours typing, and they often get a lot of it wrong, which creates, if you're trying to type up hundreds of pages of discussion, there are turns of phrase and misspellings and arguments over what was said, and minutes are usually delayed for months. We had verbatim minutes in Willoughby Hills for most of the time that I was a councilman, and it was not uncommon for minutes to be 3, 4, 5 months behind, and people who needed to know whether something was passed or not didn't have the official record to show who made the motion, was it passed, was it adopted, and it became very problematic. Not a lot of people come to our records room to review the old minutes. I've gone many a time myself. But we always have the full record of the meeting. We save these recordings forever, and so every detail is available for residents to watch and to hear. We just don't take the expense and the time to do verbatim minutes and a transcript, as Commissioner Regovich says. Since our discussion on property taxes a few weeks ago, I've had many residents reach out. The Lake County Tribune did a write-up on my comments, and I want to reiterate, even though there are many people who play a role in the state's valuation of our property and the collection of property taxes for the various authorities, ultimately, most of the tax rate is set by our school board. That's a fact. And the tax base is set by state law. And only our state reps and senators, in consultation with the governor, can change state law. Villages and cities and even townships to some extent can have home rule and make their own rules for their locality, but counties are creatures of the state government, and every elected official, every employee is subject to the Ohio Revised Code. The auditor doesn't have the authority to ignore the formula. That doesn't mean the auditor is perfect. He could make a mistake, and that's why we have a process for people to say, I have 4 bedrooms, not 5, or my square footage is 1,500, not 2,000, because mistakes are in fact made. And private vendors who help in the process make mistakes too. And I acknowledge that, and we're always striving to do better, but we will never be perfect. That said, the formula and how properties are valued is a matter of state law. And I want to sincerely agree with your proposal, Mr. Mayor, that we should not be dramatically increasing the values of property without a sale. Because unless or until you sell the property, you don't have the liquidity to pay the tax, you don't have the benefit of that money. You're just locked into the inflationary high value and a much higher tax bill. And you're not making a proposal that hasn't been done or that's wildly impossible. Florida has a very similar rule. My understanding is that without a sale of the property, I think Florida has a cap of a 2% increase in value per year off the top of my head. So you've made a very sound proposal that works elsewhere. And I think there's a reason why Florida is growing so quickly and Ohio is not. Tax policy does determine where people decide to live, and frankly, where people can afford to live. So I want to sincerely thank you for your push to lower property taxes, and I want to continue to advocate for our residents that the state legislature change these valuations, and that the school boards who claim the majority of the taxes think long and hard before they raise them, and hopefully find efficiencies that can allow them to give a little bit back to the residents who can't afford to pay these dramatic inflationary gains. But I thank you for your understanding that we are all restricted to the same rules in public portion, regardless of our title, regardless of who we are. You can't have a rule if it doesn't apply to everyone equally. Any other old business?
Mr. President, if I may.
Mr. Commissioner?
If I could just comment on that, I hope there's not a misconception that Mayor Morrow is asking for a verbatim transcript. I believe what I've clearly heard from Mayor Morrow and others is having our meeting minutes be reflective of the actual meeting so that an average person reviewing our meeting minutes would be able to understand what it was that was talked about at our meeting. I've never at any time heard the mayor or anybody else demand or ask for or even hint at verbatim transcripts. I just want to be very clear on that's what I'm hearing. So I just don't want it to get entered into the collective minds of those going forward that somehow there's been asks for things that are utterly unreasonable. But as long as we're on the subject of some old business, though, I would be remiss if I did not thank Mr. Massey. I do appreciate your entering that communication from the Attorney General. This is fake news. We have had those who are making some pretty dubious statements. I am saddened that there are those who have had that document in their possession, who have had knowledge of that communication, yet they persist in accusing me, and their words, not mine, of the greatest unsolved crime in the history of Lake County. I am sorry that Mr. Heberbrand chose to leave, but I guess I'm glad that he didn't decide to talk today. I have to say, though, that I am truly, deeply disappointed in Mr. Heberbrand. As an assistant prosecutor in Ashtabula County, it's my understanding that prosecutors are held to a higher standard than other lawyers. The Ohio Supreme Court refers to them as ministers of justice. Their charge is to speak the truth. Speak the truth. That seems to be a commodity these days, speaking the truth. I'm sorry Mr. Heberbrand chose not to stay, but Mr. Heberbrand, this one's for you. Shame on you, sir. I'm sure you'll be going back, and I'm sure you're going to hear about this. Shame on you for knowingly perpetuating something that you know is not true. Shame on you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Then on to new business, and I'd like to kick things off with a motion. Yesterday, many of us got to see a moment in Lake County history. The second championship of our Lake County captains, Midwest champions, winning Game 3 of a 3-game series against the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Lake County defeated the entire state of Wisconsin.
Yay.
I don't mean to be cheesy, but we brought the cheddar.
Now that was funny.
I think it's a testament to both the founding owner, Peter Carfagna, and the new owners, Alan and John, as well as their ownership team, as well as past and present coaches and managers like Neil Stein and Jen Yorko, who have really made the Captains the team for Northeast Ohio, bringing their second championship back since they first came to Classic Park in Eastlake. And to be president of the Lake County Commission, to sit in the stands and see our team win, I felt like a captain myself. It was exciting. I will say it was a little hard because the captains said this is a Wednesday. And Wednesdays are dog days, and we're going to keep that promise. We want the dogs to be able to cheer for us too. And, you know, Beamer loved going to the captains' games on dog days. He loved the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the ice cream. And there were so many four-legged friends there who were cheering on for the captains right with us. But I know Beamer would be happy that the captains won this thing, and that dogs were allowed to, as they should be, because they cheered all season long for the captains too. So I would like to make a motion to make this September Lake County Captains Month right here in Lake County, Ohio, recognizing their historic achievement and win 9-4, Game 3 over the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. This is quite the moment for Lake County, Ohio, and we're so proud of our home team. So I move to make this Lake County Captains Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Mr. President, if I may, I was fortunate enough to be able to take part in these last couple of weeks through the playoffs, and how exciting it was. But Mayor Morley would have really enjoyed it and loved it, and he got me involved with the captains many years ago when I was the mayor, and I think they kind of did it for him too. So at least in my mind, so I would be happy to make that motion.
Well, we need a second.
I'll second.
There we go. Any further discussion?
I think you guys have said it all, so I'll just smile and wait for the roll call.
So let's see. The captains got 2 out of 3 games. Will they get 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 votes? Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Ragovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes, it is officially Lake County Captains Month in Lake County, Ohio. And by the way, I saw one of our Timberlake Council people there too. So there was quite a lot of folks rooting for our home team. Also in new business, speaking of Beamer, I just want to thank the employees of the juvenile court and the commissioner's office for so kindly sending their condolences, along with many others. Beamer was a happy puppy and a good boy, and it's very heartening to me that so many members of the community remember Beamer so well as the parade puppy, as Santa's canine elf helper, and as their friend. He was my best friend, but he was certainly Lake County's dog, and it means a lot to me that so many of you have expressed your love for Beamer too. And I would also thank Dijon Funeral Home for their incredibly kind help in taking care of Beamer's last needs. Their pet services are extraordinary in Willoughby Hills. I figured if they were good enough for George Voinovich and Swagger of the Browns, that they're a great institution. And on the topic of loss, it's so important to reiterate the great loss that our chaplain for the Sheriff's Department, Bishop Maribel, has suffered. To lose his wife, to lose Lady Bishop, it is a great, grave loss to him. She was truly his partner in faith, in spreading the gospel, and in serving the public in so many ways. And I can't even begin to express my condolences to the bishop. But I do want to say that the whole county is grieving with you, because Lady Bishop did so much for so many people, and we're grateful that there's an opportunity this Saturday to pay our respects. Any further new business, gentlemen?
If I may, just well said regarding Lady Bishop. Thank you, sir. Regarding Mayor Mara, I would say, though, that in the interest of good governance, openness, and transparency, when we have other elected officials, separately elected officials, the only way they can meet with this board is at a special meeting, a public meeting such as this. There should, and I have to say, I don't believe that we don't have this. There should be a mechanism by which they could address us and to air their grievances, air their concerns, express their compliments, their gratitude for things, the whole palette. So I would ask that if, under new business, since Mayor Mara did express that he had some things that he wanted to bring to our attention, that he be afforded the time to do that. It seems reasonable if he's in that 3-minute range, that I don't think that would be burdensome upon this board. And as I understand what was passed at the beginning of the year, that is a permitted act. Although I did not support the reconfiguration, I do believe this is a reasonable ask, and I would ask that Mayor Mara, under new business, be permitted to express the concerns that he wanted to bring before us. I believe that is of a public interest, and I think this is the proper time and place to do that. So just wanted to put that before you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and I'm confident that in the reorganization, as we do every year, we will consider the rules of the commission. We try to be consistent on a year-to-year basis, but we will certainly take that into account, and I'm sure that the commission will decide wisely, though as you point out, it may not be unanimous.
I'm sorry, are you saying that there is no mechanism for an elected official to address this board? Is that what I just heard?
I do not believe personally in treating politicians or elected officials differently from residents, but I understand that others might think that with the title comes special privilege. I do understand that position, but I think that it is certainly a larger discussion, and we typically revisit our rules once a year, and I believe that the next commission and the next term will take this seriously into account.
We hear people come before this board talking about constituents that may or may not exist. A mayor, a trustee, a councilman. They have tangible constituents. We entertain that foolishness, but we will not entertain an actual mayor, an actual elected official who has actual constituents. And I guess, as I understand it, 2 of 3 commissioners can do this. Mayor Regovich, would you allow Mayor Mara to come and give his presentation? I don't think it's an unreasonable thing. You've served as a mayor. I'm sure you know the frustration of being blocked out. I would be very interested in your thoughts, sir.
I feel that we have yet to do that this year. We have never done that this year to this point. We've followed the same rules all throughout the year. Again, I invite Mayor to speak to me, and we've spoken on this already when we said we'd take it up at CCAO and things like that. I'd be glad to share that with him. But it's, there's nothing that we need to take action on at this board. So he could definitely speak to us without us having to worry about voting on anything.
Again, trying to keep things in 4 corners, could somebody please tell me what prohibition there is at inviting an elected official to address this board? I'm not aware of it. It seems a reasonable request, and given the passion that was expressed, I am concerned. This does not hold to the standard of good governance and the common definition of openness and transparency. If somebody wishes to address us, I don't think we should be having individual private meetings, because it's going to turn into a game of telephone. What you hear, what Commissioner Pleshek hears, what I hear, may not always be the same thing. And if somebody is this committed to take the time out of the day to come and speak to us, it seems reasonable, and I don't see where there's any prohibition against that. If I'm mistaken, could somebody please correct me?
Any further new business? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session for real estate acquisition. No business will be conducted after this executive session.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes, we stand adjourned.